Hello, this is Lily and welcome to my bookland. Now that we are at the end of August, I thought maybe it's a good idea to talk about all the books I've read in this month and have a review on them. I read 6 books this month and the first one was a fantasy. And the last one that I've just finished yesterday was a dark romance. Actually, the last 2 books of this month were dark romance and I am into this one. Yes, dark romance has become my new favorite trope. And yes, I'm just exploring and trying to find something that is really dark and not just some lines of trying to make the characters dark. Actually, the dark romance. So let's get to it and have a review on the first book, Legendborn. So the first book of August is Legendborn. It's about a girl called Bree and it's about her life throughout finding who she is, because on her first night at campus she witnesses something magical. She saw a hellhound and she understood that she can resist mesmer. So the book is about her adventure through finding out who she is and why she has these abilities. And it is a good fantasy book. As a non-fantasy reader, I have to say that I liked the magical world and I liked how she connected small details about these different part of books. And at the end of the book, there's just one little plot twist that I didn't see coming, and it was great. I found it really hard to just keep up with this book throughout the first pages or first chapters, but as I just kept reading, I was more attached to this one. And one of the things that I don't like about this book is that it's a series of books about Bree and her life, and the big incidents that you're waiting your whole book of the first book happens at the end of the book, at the last pages of the book, and now you have to go read the second one. That's why I don't like series, because I prefer to finish everything in just this book and move on to the second one. Or at least I rather read standalones in series, not just something about one character. So it was just a little bit annoying for me, but nothing big. And I understood that it's not a really well-known book. It's not just hyped on social media, but I think it must be a little bit more, because this magical world is great. And I suggested it was a great one. I haven't read the second book, so I cannot say if this story ends well, but as much as I've read, I can say that it's a good book. So I give it 5 out of 5, because I'm not a fantasy reader and this one really got me. So just 5 out of 5. Okay, great. The second book of August is Funny Story by Emily Henry. Before anything, if you are a fan of Emily Henry books, please skip this part, because you better just skip this part because you wouldn't like this. So, as I said, the second book is a Funny Story by Emily Henry, and it's about Daphne, who is a librarian at a small town, and her fiance leaves her for his childhood friend Petra, and now she has to move out from her house and she has to move into Petra's boyfriend's house, Miles. So the story has fake dating and friends to lovers in it. So I have to say that I didn't like this book, because I couldn't keep myself to feel anything through the characters, and they didn't catch my heart. I just forced myself into finishing this book, and I was like, really, just one more chapter, and finally it finished. So I didn't like this book at all, and it's not that spicy. So if you're not really a fan of books with so much spice, maybe you should try this one. And the thing that I didn't like about this book was that everybody except Petra and Peter knew that they're fake dating, and just everybody knew. I think when you're fake dating someone, you may want to just have this fake dating, really, because what if one of them just goes and tell them, not intentionally, okay, unintentionally, but I just didn't like this book. I didn't like the characters, and I think what they did wasn't something that people in their 30s would do. And the other thing that I didn't like about this book was that she was honest about her feelings for Miles, and just Miles kept pushing away. Why? Really, why? And he was in his 30s, a grown man, and he was still unable to express his feelings and actually have clear feelings for anyone. Not anyone, for Petra and Daphne. So I didn't like this book, I have to say, and I would give it a 2 stars. So the third book of August is The Right Move by Liz Tomforde. It's the second book of Windy City series, and it's the book after Mile High. It's about Ryan Shay and Indy, who Indy is Stevie's friend, and Ryan is her brother. Now they have to have this forced kind of proximity because, as you remember from the first book, Indy's boyfriend Alex cheated on her, and she had nowhere else to go. So Stevie asked her brother to let her in just a room, and the story is about Indy moving into Ryan Shay's apartment and totally just make it upside down. Okay, just change everything, bring colors and plants into this house, and not just she's changing the apartment, she's changing Ryan Shay. And this man, he is great. The story is great, the love scenes and the spice is great. Reading this book was just the best part of. I'm just so excited about this. Reading this book was the best part of my August. I loved it, and if you have my Instagram, it's just that I post every day about this book. I have reels and different posts and different stories about this book because these two characters have my heart, okay? If I liked Mile High, I am crazy about this one. It's just beyond that, okay? And you have to go read this one. Just first read Mile High, although there are standalones and you can just skip that first one. But I suggest you go and read Mile High first and then come to read The Right Move. I have 2 more books in this series to read, but I'm not ready to just move on from this Ryan Shay phase. No, and I'm in love with basketball players. Actually, basketball is my favorite sport. I love the games, and now I am in love with the players too. It's a great one. Okay, the plot, the characters, and everything is great. And yes, I love everything. I love everything. It's 11 out of 5 stars. Like, it's every star you can find in the universe for this book. Okay, every star is great. Not moving on from Ryan Shay, we have to move to the next step, and it's Wildfire. It's about Aurora and Ross, who they meet for the first time in a party. Then they have a one-night stand, and they think that they're never going to see each other again. But they meet in a camp, in a summer camp, and they have to spend their whole summer together. So they decide to be friends, to obey the rules of the camp, and then they gradually fall in love together, and it's a great love story. It's actually, after finishing this book, I found out that it's the second book of a series I don't know the series name, but I know that the previous book is Icebreaker and it's a sports romance, but this one is not a sports romance. Although Roos is a hockey player, but it's not about sports and games at all. So it's just this summer love and just this cute love story. It has some fun parts. It has a basketball game at the middle to end of this book, and I really enjoyed that one. It was so funny, and there is a side character called Xanders, which is great. Xander, I love him, and I thought if there is a book about him and his love story with anyone, I'm going to read, but to this date there's no book about him, so I have to wait for the writer to just go decide and write a book with Xander being the main character. And so I would give this book 4.5, because if Right Move is 5, then this one maybe is 4.5 or 5. Okay, so 4.5 stars or 5 stars, which is a good book. Totally recommend that. Go and read this one if you haven't tried. And if you like to know the story of Icebreaker, I found out that there is nothing about them in this book. So if you just read this one, you're going to understand the story fully, because it's standalone, and there's no problem with not reading the previous book. So the last 2 steps of August are 2 dark romance books, and they are from a series. And the first book of the series is God of Malice, and it's about Killian and Glyndon, who Killian forces Glyndon to be with her, and to be with her because he's obsessed with her, and he wants to know why he feels these different emotions toward her. So and the third book of this series is God of Wrath, and it's the story of Jeremy and Cicely. Jeremy is one of Killian's friends, and Cicely is also one of Glyndon's best friends. So see, this is a dark romance. Okay, if you've seen morally gray men, in these books they are morally black men. Okay, no gray here. They may do some bad stuff, which they are not accepted in real world. And yes, I know that we should not fall in love with the villain who sometimes kill people or torture people, but we're talking about dark romance. Okay, if you're not into this thing, so just don't read it. It's obviously written in the first pages of this book that this book contains these things, and if you're not okay with any of them, so don't read it. What do you expect from dark romance? And it's just fiction, okay? Nobody is romanticizing any bad behavior, okay? It's just a fiction book, and it's about dark characters with dark desires and dark manners. So before anything, this is a warning. If you don't like these tropes, just don't read it, okay? Don't annoy yourself with these thoughts, because Killian in the first book does something really dark and bad in the second chapter, and I don't say that Killian is lovely, because I really didn't like him, but Jeremy is just another level, okay? He's in another league. Why am I talking like this? Jeremy is in another league, and he is way better than Killian. He's more logical, and he's also sometimes really out of his mind, but he's more logical than Killian is. And just this story between Cicely and Jeremy is way better than the first book. And I also skipped the second book. I actually read 20% of the second book is God of Pain, but I have to say that I didn't like it. It was so boring. As a dark romance, it was boring, and I didn't like this book, so I skipped it after reading about 20% of it. So I went to the third book, Jeremy and Cicely, and I liked it. I really liked it. And I suggest, if you like morally gray man, it's actually morally black man here, And if you like dark romance, if you want to read something new, I just suggest this one. So God of Wrath, the third book of the series, is 4.5, and God of Malice is 4 stars. And yes, I like God of Wrath way more than the first book. So if you like dark romance, and if you like something in the college, so just read this one. So yes, this was all the 6 books I read in August, and I liked some of them. I actually liked most of them. There was just funny story that I didn't like, but I liked most of them, and I am crazy about one of them. And if you liked this video, please subscribe and like this video, because I honestly want all of you as my book best friends, and I would really like to have this small community to talk about books and have reviews about them. So don't forget to subscribe and give this video a thumbs up. And also I leave my Instagram account link in the description box, so don't forget to follow me on Instagram too. Goodbye!